Okay, dear students, let us move on to one more new lesson on magnetism. Magnetism lesson 7. In lesson 6, we studied and derived when a bar magnet, which has two poles, a south pole and north pole, both are of equal strength, pole strength small m, when kept in an external uniform magnetic field, it was experiencing a torque, a rotating force, that was mb as sine theta. This is what we learned in the previous lesson, magnetism 6. M was the magnetic moment, and what was M? And your M was equal to the pole strength times the magnetic length, and it was a vector quantity directed from south pole of the magnet towards the north pole of the magnet. B was the external magnetic field, and theta was the angle between the magnetic moment and the magnetic field. It was experiencing a torque. That is what we learned in the previous lesson. Now let us move on to another derivation, potential energy of a bar magnet in a magnetic field. When a bar magnet is kept in a magnetic field, what will be its potential energy? Okay, so let us move on. We know the torque experienced by a bar magnet when kept in an external magnetic field B. That is what we learned in the previous lesson, magnetism 6. The torque tau was mb sine theta. This is the magnitude part of it. It's a vector quantity. If you want to write it, you can write like this also. Tau is equal to m cross b. And the direction of the torque is the direction of the vector m cross b. Means tau will be perpendicular to the plane containing m and b, right? Now, where m, the magnetic moment, was 2 ml, m was the pole strength, 2l was the magnetic length, that is the distance between the south pole or north pole, or the north pole or south pole of the bar magnet. It was dipole moment. It was directed from south to north. And B was your external magnetic field. Theta was the angle between M and B. While we derived this, theta was the angle between magnetic moment and the external magnetic field B. Now, what happens, since torque is a rotating force, due to this, something rotates. So, due to the torque tau, the magnet tries to align in the direction of the B. What do you mean by this? Suppose the magnetic field is this way, and you have your magnet is like this, south north. It tries to align in the direction of B, means this magnet south north. Due to the torque, this magnet bar magnet will try to rotate like this and will align itself in the direction of a B. This is what it tries, it does. So, let d theta is the small angle by which the magnet is rotated against the torque. Means due to the torque, this was experiencing a force to this side, mb, this was experiencing a force to this side, which I explained in the previous video, and the perpendicular distance between this point and this point, that is this perpendicular distance was your 2l sine theta, because this was theta which we derived. So due to the torque, the bar magnet is trying to rotate like this. Against this rotation, suppose you want to you rotate it by a small angle d theta to this side, anticlockwise. So, therefore you have to do some work. Let d theta is the small angle by which the magnet is rotated against the torque tau. The torque is trying to align in the direction of the field. You are rotating against that by a small angle d theta. So therefore you have to do some work, some external work. So therefore work has to be done to rotate it by d theta. And we know in work energy power, your work was equal to Fs cos theta. Similarly, this thing in rotational motion, work will be, instead of force, we have to write tau. S was displacement. Here there is angular displacement, d theta or cos theta, or you can write dw is equal to tau d theta. The equivalent of force is torque. The equivalent of displacement is angular displacement d theta. So let the small work done dw is equal to tau d theta. So for tau, put mb sin theta d theta. So this is the small work done when you are rotating this dipole, which is a bar magnet having two poles. Therefore it is called a dipole by a small angle d theta to this side. Then this is the amount of work done. So the total work done will be integration of dw. Suppose you are rotating this magnet from this position to this position, means from position theta 1 to position theta 2. So the total work done when it is rotated from position theta 1 to theta 2 will be integration of dw within the limit from theta 1 to theta 2. AMB is constant, so it's taken out. Integration of sin theta d theta from theta 1 to theta 2. Integration of sin theta comes out to be minus cos theta, its value from theta 1 to theta 2. Now the minus sign I take it outside, so it becomes minus MB. Minus MB will be minus is taken out, so we are left with only cos theta. So cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. Cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. Now if you take this minus sign inside, this becomes negative, this becomes positive. So cos theta 1 comes earlier, cos theta 2 comes later. So work done is equal to MB cos theta 1 minus cos theta 2. You must remember, theta 1 is the initial position, theta 2 is the final position. That is what you have to remember while solving numericals. Now this much work that you did, this much work is stored in the magnet as its potential energy. The amount of work you just did, which I just derived, is stored in the magnet as its potential energy. The symbol for potential energy I am using U. So U is equal to MB cos theta 1 minus theta 2. I tell you once again, theta 1 is the initial position, theta 2 is the final position. Means suppose B is to this side, initially the magnet was like this. So this angle is theta 1. Now you have rotated the magnet to this position, N. Now this angle is equal to your theta 2. So initial position theta 1 to final position theta 2. So theta 1 is the initial position, theta 2 is the final orientation. Now what happens if theta 1 is 90 and theta 2 is theta? Means what do you mean by this? Magnetic field was this way. Initial position means the magnet was like this. This is your south, this is your north. Initial position is theta 1, that is equal to 90. So from this position to some other position, theta. So if theta 1 is 90 and theta 2 is theta, so here theta 1 put is 90 and for theta 2 put it as theta. So this energy expression U now becomes MB cos 90 minus cos theta. Now cos 90 is 0. So minus comes here, minus MB cos theta. So why did I do so? Now this can be put as the dot product of two vectors. So minus M dot B. So the potential energy is equal to minus M dot B. Now there are cases. Case 1, if theta is 0. If theta is 0. Now if you put theta is 0 here, cos 0 is 1. Minus 1. So minus MB. So your potential energy becomes minus MB, that is the minimum. Right. Now similarly case 2, if theta is 90. If theta is 90, then your U becomes 0. U becomes 0. Now similarly, now if theta is equal to 180, put theta is equal to 180 here, your U becomes MB, that is equal to maximum. So these two things I have explained in a diagram here. These red lines indicate the uniform magnetic field to this side. These red lines equally spaced, so it represents the uniform magnetic field to this side. This is the magnet. Here it is. This side is south pole. This side is the north pole. So in this case, the angle between the magnetic moment and the magnetic field, theta is 0. That is this case. That is potential energy is minimum. Now here, the same magnet, here I have kept in such a way so that this is north pole, this is south pole. So the magnetic moment of the bar magnet is to this side. Magnetic moment is to this side and the magnetic field is to this side. So angle between them is 180 degree. That is this thing. So this is the situation for maximum potential energy. This is the situation for minimum potential energy. Now let me slightly explain you what is potential energy that we did in your school physics. Suppose this is your level ground. Here is a mass m, its weight is mg, this is a force, and if you want to lift it to a height h, now this mass is lifted to a height h. Now then you have to apply a force to this side. So your work done will be your force and the displacement. Force is equal to F, that is same thing as equal to its mg. You at least require mg force to lift it, height h. Now you might say, why there is no cos theta term here? Cos theta term here. Force is this way, displacement is this way, so angle between them is 0, so cos 0 is 1. Therefore, just F into displacement, this is the potential energy. So, potential energy of this mass when lifted from this level to a height h means at this position is equal to mgh. Now, here again, suppose this is a bow and arrow. This is the bow, this is the string, this is the arrow. Now you have stretched this string from this position to this position. यहाँ तक. Now if you release the arrow will move. Now and then compare this situation to this situation. The same bow and arrow is here. The same bow and arrow is here. This is the bow, this is the string, this is the same arrow. Now if you compare this situation and this situation, and I ask you in which case the potential energy here is more or here is more? Here is more, because you have stretched it more. Means if you release this arrow will travel a larger distance and this arrow will travel a shorter distance. Means less potential energy when this is released, because its potential energy is less, so it will travel less distance. Here, by stretching the string to a further distance, the potential energy stored in the system is more. So if you release the arrow, it will travel more distance as compared to this situation. And also in mechanics, let me tell you potential energy. Suppose this is an inclined plane, this height h. So this is your level ground, and suppose here there is a mass m. This mass m is at a height h. So here the potential energy which I just explained will be mgh. If this slides and there is no friction, there will be no loss of energy. So when this arrives here, this potential energy at this level becomes 0, because here h is 0, so this becomes 0. But according to conservation of energy, this energy will be converted to total kinetic energy here. So here kinetic energy will be half mv square. If there is no loss of energy when this is sliding, if there is no friction, therefore mgh is equal to half mv square. Means mgh is equal to half mv square. You can write it, you can mm cancels, so you can find out v. So your v will be equal to 2gh square root of that if it is sliding. Let me give you another example. in rotational motion, we also studied if a body is rolling, suppose its mass is m. So here the potential energy is equal to mgh. If it is rolling, it arrives here, then h becomes 0 at this point. So all this potential energy is converted here to kinetic energy. But since it is rolling, it will have two types of kinetic energy due to the velocity v, and since it is rotating, there will be an angular velocity. So at this point, this energy mgh will be converted into half mv square plus half I omega square. Mgh is equal to half mv square plus half I omega square. This is the translational kinetic energy. This is the rotational kinetic energy, where I is the moment of inertia, omega is the angular velocity. If there is no friction, if there is friction, some part of the energy will be lost. So I think the potential energy of a bar magnet in a magnetic field is now clear to you. Now we'll slowly move on to in next lessons we'll move on to how a loop. We'll move on to how a loop. In the next lesson, we'll see a loop carrying current. When seen from upside, behaves as north pole. When seen from down, the current is clockwise, behaves as south pole. That is same thing as a current carrying loop behaves as a bar magnet, south pole, north pole. Its magnetic moment is this way, so its magnetic moment will be this way. We'll do this in the next lesson.